This thing is literally, hasn't moved for a long time. I'm looking at this balcony that's filled with crap, and the patio down here, and she's explaining to me how it's really a bad market. And I'm looking at this property saying, who the hell would want to lease here? Oh, what did I just do? Oh. And, by the way, and then I notice over the right, see the little white thing? That's a pit bull sleeping on the couch, okay? And so she's explaining to me how it's a bad market, and all I can see is any reasonable tenant walking into this property, and there's no way in hell they're gonna want to lease here. Okay, so here are the typical market issues, mind you, that I face. We don't fix the locks. What trash? I mean, literally, I have had property managers stepping over dead bodies and trash, not understanding why it's a bad market. And I love this. Oh, well, you know, we have bad tenants. And what, are they squatters? Oh, you mean you leased to bad tenants? Okay. Misguided leasing programs. 2 true stories, by the way. West Palm Beach, we take over a property. I walk in the leasing office, there's a giant basket of condoms there. And staff starts explaining why they believe in safe sex. I said, this is a family project. This makes no sense whatsoever. That's all I needed to see was that one thing, and I knew management was not salvageable. We got rid of them, turned the property around. The koozies, you know the beer koozie things, those foam things you put your beer in? So I'm in, I forget what the heck it is, Kansas City. There are boxes and boxes of these things in the management office, and I say, well, what's all this about? Oh, our new marketing program. We're going out to the bars in the middle of the day to give away these koozies with the property name on it. And this is their idea that they're going to get more working families, and they're going to get more tenants in this property.
What was the name of that property management?
I'll let you know about it. The Section 8 conundrum, this is another one. I've got to tell you folks, I see this all. I just came back from Houston on Friday. We're going to take over 3 properties, and this is exactly what's going on, which is the management and the leasing folks are just, they don't get it. So they keep putting in more Section 8, keep putting in more Section 8, and they've now reached the tipping point where for every new Section 8 tenant they get, they're losing 1 or 2 of the market rate tenants, and they're only going to get to 70% occupancy, and they will never understand how come they can't get any higher. Screening out good tenants, I see this over and over again, which is you go into the filthy leasing office, and you sit down at the filthy desk, and then you go through the filthy hallway to the filthy unit that they're trying to lease, and the manager and the leasing agent, they just don't understand why they can't lease the property to good tenants. And you want to politely suggest that actually good people care about where they live. And obviously you folks don't, so good people don't scream and yell, they just don't lease there. And then again, the other one I love, checking the property at night. If the manager is afraid to walk on the property at night, how in God's name are they supposed to be leasing this thing to people? Okay, danger signs that your property is intolerable. Again, a lot of this stuff you can do from your office. You don't have to move. But it's interesting, some of the stuff I see when I see this debt service coverage going down, liabilities and receivables going up, payments to related parties going up. What does that mean? That means I got a general partner that's getting ready to fold. Electronically scan for changes. So much of this stuff is so easy with the new technology that literally you can put little triggers in there that say, gee, if my payables increase by 5%, pull this property out as an exception. This is reasonably easy to do. Operational indicators, high receivables plus high turns, high maintenance. What does that mean? I see this all the time. It means they're churning through bad tenants. So they have really, really high occupancy. Gee, the good news is we're all at 97%. Of course, the bad news is that they're only collecting 80% of the rents and they're turning units 3 or 4 times a year. The rest of the stuff, compliance, sloppy files. When you see that, it says to me that your management is probably out of control. Deferred maintenance, offline units, no marketing program, and out-of-date materials. The number of times I will show up on a property that's failing and find out they don't have a leasing brochure is absolutely astounding. Marketing program stinks, and the shopping report is even worse. We took over a portfolio in Atlanta. I changed managers about 4 months ago and thought they were doing reasonably well, but we're still hemorrhaging with these deficits. Again, you don't necessarily have to read this, but you can see some of the deficits, 55,000, 47,000. Then we had shopping. So about every quarter, I hire a shopper for, it's literally $100 or $120 to come in and basically shop the property with the leasing agents. And guess what? There's almost an exact correlation between low shopping scores, leasing scores, and high deficits. And some of the stuff is frightening. If you see what some of the comments are, okay, so leasing person was not enthusiastic. I love this one. Did not talk much at all. Just handed me keys and a map. Now these are properties, folks, that we have put in $14 to $15 million to build, and somebody hands you a key and a map to go find a unit, and we're wondering why this thing isn't at break even. I was not asked to fill out an application or leave a deposit. Again, no follow-up from my initial visit. It's astounding the number of leasing reports that I will get on troubled properties where the leasing agent is basically nasty and surly. So band of affordability is one thing, but for God's sakes, take an application. All right, managing your management company. Now we're going to start to head a little bit into the stuff that I think we're all going to have to deal a lot with in this downturn. And some real simple things. When I step on properties, it's amazing the number of property managers that don't have a budget. Oh, that's kept at the central office. Well, how the hell do you run the property without a budget? How many don't have a business plan? Can you explain to me what percent of turnover your goal is? Oh, as low as possible. That's a great goal. Easily achievable. And it's amazing. You have this talk with managers, and they just have no idea what the hell they're supposed to do, except maybe show up in the office and keep the place from burning down. Tracking performance, the number of owners that actually can't track performance on a regular basis, absolutely frightening. Site visits. I mean, I have gone to properties that are rough enough where the general partner hires a security guard to go with us. And you're sitting there saying, this makes no sense whatsoever. If you're afraid to walk on your property, how can it possibly be successful? And again, rewarding good managers financially and emotionally, this is a tough, I actually don't beat on property management, folks, because it's a tough job that is an absolutely thankless task. But we as an industry somehow think the minute somebody's making more than $42,000 a year, they ought to be replaced by somebody making less. And it is bizarre, the millions and millions and billions of dollars that we have that is all managed by people making $40,000 a year. And if they get to be any better than that or look for anything better, we of course then replace them with somebody who doesn't know anything making $36,000 a year, claiming victory because you've saved $8,000 a year as your $15 million asset falls apart. I see this is one thing I do think the underwriting folks need to change, and we need to change in the industry. The other thing is the number of times I ask staff, tell me how you guys are compensated. How do you earn your bonuses? And they don't have a clue. We are profit oriented, we are profit driven. One of the changes that I make significantly, that makes a significant amount of difference, I will compensate the hell out of property management staff, and it drives my management companies crazy sometimes, because they like to have this little box of, I don't know what you call it, compensation that they don't want you to rock the boat. But at the end of the day, it's the on-site folks that drive the performance. Here, danger signs, your partner's going down. I need to speed this up a little bit.